That sounds fun. That sounds fun.
Hi, friends. Welcome to another episode of That Sounds Fun, Annie and Eddie Keep Talking edition. I'm your host, Annie F. Downs. I'm so happy to be here with you today because the Buddies tour dates and cities have now been announced. Listen, we are so excited. We're coming to Keller outside of Fort Worth in Texas. We're coming to Colorado Springs, Colorado. We're coming to Charlotte, North Carolina. We're coming to Trussville, which is just outside of Birmingham in Alabama, and maybe some more, definitely some more. Y'all just stay tuned. Y'all, this is going to be such a blast. I hope these nights are just like pure fun for us. There is a lot of heaviness in the world, which we actually talk about a lot in today's episode. I hope you bring your spouse or your girlfriends, your small group, your family to the Buddies Tour with me and Eddie. And we'll have a couple of hours just to laugh, meet a bunch of new friends, 7 minutes of serious with a good side of hope. I'm telling y'all, it is going to be so fun. You can find the dates and the details at thebuddietour.com. And because you're a podcast listener, you get a pre-sale code today. Tickets actually don't go on sale till tomorrow, but you get them today. You're just going to use the code BUDDIES, BUDDIES, and you get your tickets at thebuddietour.com. Again, your code for today only is BUDDIES, BUDDIES, at thebuddietour.com. We cannot wait for these shows and cannot wait to see you there. So today on the show, Eddie and I get to keep talking about my ceiling falling in during the ice storm, how much is going on in the world right now, and just how hard it is for all of us to wrestle with it. Let's just say our 7 minutes of serious turned into, closer to 47 minutes. We both showed up really honest with our questions and our thoughts. And I hope you will enjoy that, appreciate that, and see another real side of our friendship where Eddie and I figure things out together in places we do agree, in places we don't, and places we assume about each other, and places we get curious and figure it out. But don't worry, we of course had to wrap things up by chatting for a bit about Oscar nominations, Zootopia 2, and the first movie we ever remember seeing. And listen, I've seen your comments. I would assume you're probably hoping that Eddie and I talk about my dating life on this episode, but we recorded this episode before I hard launched my relationship on the internet. So sorry to disappoint. I'm certain Eddie will have some things to say about it next month. So for now, here's what I think is one of my favorite conversations I've ever had with my buddy and my tour partner and your buddy, Eddie Kaufholz.
That sounds fun.
Eddie, are we doing 7 minutes of serious or 70 minutes of serious?
It's yeah, it's hard not to know how to handle the flood of everything of it all. Hi everyone. It's nice to see you. So, okay, I think we have to say up front.
1,000 things. We have to say up front 1,000 things.
How do we start? I think it's helpful to start by acknowledging that I don't think people have an illusion that this show is live. But
Right.
It's really not live this time.
Yeah, that's right. Our schedules, usually we try to record Annie and Eddie Keep Talking right before y'all hear it.
Right.
But our February schedules do not allow. So we're recording this the first week of February. You're hearing it the last week of February.
Right.
And at the speed of disaster,
Yeah.
we cannot know what has happened in the middle 2 weeks.
Hard not to know how to address the multiple dumpster fires raging around the
Yes.
planet. And it's
Yes.
also, I got to be honest, Annie, like I struggle with, because I got a few messages. I don't know. We'll talk about this. But I always hate it on podcasts when people are like, you can edit it out. You're like, yeah, we know it's a podcast. We don't have to say edit it. But either way, I just have gotten a few messages like, are you guys going to fill in any number of just like, global catastrophes from Minnesota to snow and Nashville losing power and people being like home insecure because of it to, just war around the planet. Like it's hard, like things happening in Iran and Israel, like Gaza, like it's hard to come up with.
Nigeria, there's not a corner of the planet that's having everything go right.
Yeah. And it's hard to know inside of our conversation what is actually a helpful thing on this podcast on this day. How do you manage it? Because what little commentary I get, I'm sure you get it 50-fold. What's your thinking?
I think the offline conversations are more important than the online ones. And something we say a lot around here is humans are not required to move at the speed of the internet. Because I think often there feels like pressure to talk about things and to be public about things when you haven't read an article about it. But you feel this pressure to, not you, but I feel this pressure to talk about things before I've gotten educated on it. So I tend to carry on a lot of offline conversations, do the work of it offline, and learn a lot before I talk.
Yeah, that seems right. Because I don't know. I also don't know, like, sometimes, and I think this is a thing I'm wrestling with, which is what is actually helpful. Like,
yeah,
because I have people that I know and love that are posting things, and they should, right? They're, posting any number of things.
Well, should is whatever. They can.
No, so sorry. I meant like that's their prerogative and that's great.
That's right.
But
they
then
absolutely can.
I don't know I don't want to get mired in like doing nothing, but I don't know what the something is, right? Like, I guess it's vote. That's a good one. Give money to places that are on the ground in person.
And there's just got to be, Eddie, we all have this opportunity to go, here is what I feel and believe. And here, and because we're in a faith context a lot, here's what I feel and believe based on what I understand of God in the Bible. And then there are people who love God and who are pursuing God and love Jesus and maybe sit by me at church, who have done the exact same amount of work and come to the opposite solution.
Well,
and right?
Yeah. Well,
and so,
there's two of them on this podcast, right? Like you and I have like bumped up in offline conversations in totally like loving, great ways. Like we do not share some political beliefs and some theological beliefs and some, and that's okay. Like
and we do share a lot of them.
Right. But that's exactly right. So it's also like, is this the right? Yeah. So anyhow, keep going.
So the bigger the invitation to all of us is, can you bring your maturity to, could these other people love God as much as me and end up in a different place as me? And if so, can we listen to each other and at least go, I have to believe that they are trying. And if they're trying, how did they get here? How did they get to that belief system if they're trying? And it just feels like people don't want to do that.
Yeah.
The people don't want to believe that everyone else that disagrees with them is trying.
Yes. And though, sorry, I hit the mic. And what then is hard for me is, but what about things that are like basic tenets of like, how can you question things like death? How can you question things like how are there certain things that there can be a conversation on when it seems so clear that like life and death, right? That's when it becomes like, okay, I can get that on some things. But that seems like a moral imperative that we're just going like, it's couched under a different belief system. I'm like, I don't know. Is it? I don't think so.
Would you say that?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I mean, I totally hear you. You and I are absolutely aligned on this, by the way. I just have to believe that there is a person who deeply disagrees with you that says, how in the world could anybody come to fill in the blank?
Yeah. And to be clear, what I am talking about and what I'm not talking about, like I am talking about all of the things I listed, right?
Yes.
Things happening in terms of like war, violence.
Yes.
Which of course this isn't new. You and I were on the air in 2020 talking to Latasha Morrison about the wake of Breonna Taylor and George Floyd and the fact that like
and Ahmaud Arbery,
right, and and so many others whose names we will not know, right? Like how there is still like there is a sanctity of life conversation that's broader that I'm not walking into right now, but there is we hear the names of people that are dying. We see the list of countries where there is genocide happening.
Yes.
How is there any conversation about that? But but yet there
But
is.
I also don't. Yes.
People
I
I
agree with
love.
you. I totally agree with you. Yeah.
People I love.
Same. People that we probably do holidays with. That
Right.
that we could not agree on some of these things. And so, Eddie, to me, what I try to do is follow people who don't agree with each other and watch the clips and go, man, that makes me furious that they say that. And also, they're trying. Now, is everyone trying? No. Absolutely not. There are some people who are like, I believe this since I was born and I'm not changing. And there are other people who are like, I am leaving what I believed and I will not pay attention to anything they've ever said.
Yeah.
And so there is certainly people that aren't trying.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I gotta believe that the majority of people that are speaking, I don't know. I'm trying to give people the benefit of the doubt, Eddie, that people are trying to honor God, sit with the scriptures, and come to an understanding in the end.
But I don't know. Okay, I realize we do
Keep
have
going. I'm
we do
good
have
with
we
this.
do have Oscars to talk about.
And I do have an entire home that has been destroyed by burst pipe.
Yeah, just as a PS, you came in on two wheels from an insurance adjuster.
Insurance adjuster.
We'll get to that. But like, I'm in church last week, and sitting there going, man, I hope they don't soft pedal this.
Yeah.
And the way they talked about it being, by the way, again, February 4th, the dominant conversation in the U.S. right now is Minneapolis.
Yes.
And the question is like, what are they going to say in church? And so here's what was interesting, and I can't figure out if it was highly responsible or highly irresponsible, or if I'm even to make that judgment. But the way they addressed it was essentially the pastor shared a story of his interaction that was profound for him and fairly mundane of an immigrant community that he found himself living in when he was a pastor in some other city. And basically just talking about how people from around the world are made in the image of God. But never said, and so ICE, and so this, and so Trump administration, right? Never did that. And I thought, well, that was an interesting thing because we're speaking to the heart of the humans that are being protested for by some people, protested for, meaning like in solidarity with.
Yes.
And also disproportionately affected by what is happening. That was an interesting way to talk about it. But then I'm also like, was it cowardly not to stand up there and say, let's melt the ice or whatever clever slogan people like to put on t-shirts now, right?
Yes.
I don't know. I can't make heads or tails of that. And so with this, like, I don't know, like on a show like this, it's just hard to know what's the more compassionate way to speak directly to the heart without inflaming people by using rhetoric, or is that cowardly not to? I don't know, actually. I don't know either. I don't know either. Yeah.
I mean, I think the truest thing we can say to our friends listening is we are wrestling with this too. We have thoughts, opinions, friends, conversations. We have all of that too. Eddie, I often find that the reason people want us being anyone with a public platform, the reason people want us to talk about it is not because they're trying to decide, it's because they're trying to decide if we're on the same team. They're not trying to change their mind or learn. They're trying to assess, is this person on my team? And if so, can I keep supporting them? And so very often what I want to say back is, if our friendship is determined by our agreement, then you should probably go because we're going to disagree about something that matters to you. Mm-hmm. But I'm of the mindset of I can be friends with anybody. I can listen to anybody. I can learn from anybody. I can sit with people, and I don't have to be. There are people I do not follow on Instagram. Right. And there are people I do not listen to their podcasts.
Yeah. And
so if the reason that you got DMs was because people needed to be educated on what's going on, then I'm also not the person to do that. There are news sources. There are, you can go to Sharon Says So, and she shares that like chart of where news sources fall on liberal, conservative, and mainstream. And if you're looking for education, we're not the place. If you're looking to decide if we can still be friends, Eddie and I say, yes, we can absolutely be friends with you. Of course, you are welcome to hang around us, even if we disagree on this. But if that's the decision you're making, then you need to make that regardless of what Eddie and I believe.
I also accept irregardless as a word, even though people get snobby about it.
I heard somebody say it last night. I heard somebody say regardless, and I found myself thinking, where do we use irregardless and where do we use regardless? But also, what do you think about that? What are your thoughts on those two camps?
So it is a unique problem opportunity, because I don't have questions on certain issues that I would be talking about with, like, let's say with Brian. I don't have questions on my feelings personally, Eddie.
That's right.
About what's happening with ICE and Minnesota and immigrant populations and like I don't have questions about that. That's right. And if I was standing with generally anyone, and it was like me and that person, like I would be comfortable talking about it even with disagree. Like the person, my college mentor who I love like deeply, like as close to a father figure as I get, like big fork in the road, like a couple of years ago with not the thing people are thinking. It was something else, right?
Yes,
big fork in the road. And we both know, and we both didn't say anything, and we both love each other.
Yes.
But I would not call him out on social. So that being said, I'm struggling not with how I feel, but I'm struggling with what do I do with the couple of thousand followers that I've mustered up? What do I do responsibly with a podcast that people are listening to? I feel very conflicted about that part, because it feels like an echo chamber where I'm either going to just piss people off or make people agree. But I don't know that I don't see the movement, but also that also feels cowardly, because what I'm doing is defaulting to like, oh, what can I do to help? And I do nothing, right? I go to Costco last night.
Well, do they need our help?
Well,
do our listeners need our help deciding what they think?
I don't think to think, but I think that there is no.
Because here's what I think is I think they don't need my help knowing what to think. They need to hear from voices like us on what do I do next. I know what I think. What do I do? And so that's what I've been addressing in my stories is on Instagram. It's like, okay, here's what you do. It doesn't matter what you think. I can absolutely help you take your next steps. And so I'm not here to determine what you think or to tell you what to think, but I am absolutely here to help you think through what do I do once I've determined what I think. And
yours, and what have been some of those things? Like, help me understand.
Of course. So what I said was take time to read. So you need to even once you've determined what you think, you need to read a lot. You need to read opinions. You need to read news articles. You need to read magazines and magazines. You need to read newspapers you don't agree with.
Microfiche.
And then you need to listen. You need to listen to your friends. Don't sit down at the table and spout off first. Listen to your friends you don't agree with. And then take time to pray. Like it isn't the only thing we do, but I think it really matters to sit with the Lord and with what you think and with what you've learned and take time to act. You can do those simultaneously. You can do those. Your prayer life can be while you're walking into a place to volunteer or to give your time. But praying and acting are the next things you can do. And so I just listed in my stories, here's some things that are your actions. You donate your money to the organizations that matter to you. You get out and meet some people in your community that are not like you, that are maybe really deeply experiencing this, and hear them and listen to them and go put your body in places that it matters to you that you be representing what you believe. I think all that's really important for people to hear what to do with what they think.
Yeah. Yeah. The action part. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think too, I'm conflating a little bit like public forum like this with even just in my personal life, I've done very little other than just like I've consumed this like I would consume the Golden Globes. Just like,
Yeah.
and it's like, no, that is for me and my ethic that doesn't fly. So,
And I'll tell you, Eddie, the thing I've also said online that I want to repeat to you and to me and to everyone is the internet doesn't have to know everything you do. They do not get to give us a report card on our behavior. It is about you and God and your community and serving in the way you serve. I did something last night on behalf of my belief system. And the internet doesn't have to know, Eddie. They don't have to know because I have lived enough and I've had pushback. You and I both experienced some significant pushback at the same time from the internet to know that I'm never going to make all of them happy.
Yeah.
And I really deeply care about the audience that trusts me. And I deeply care that they feel like I see them and hear them. And my audience does not all agree with each other, and neither does yours. And so I want them to feel supported in doing the next thing and the next move and moving into what they believe. If people come to me because they want me to educate them, I will happily do that. But that's not normally in this category of current events. That's not where they're coming to me to be educated on. They are coming to me to be educated on some other things, and I will teach for days. But I'm not the education place for current events.
Yeah. Yes. And lest anyone think that we are the victims here or in some way being like, woe is me, we don't know what to. No, but I'm saying like, I just want to say like, this is you and I talking and figuring stuff out in real time on a podcast, but like the struggle is not ours. The struggle is deep and personal in life and death. And I hope that like externalizing the struggle on a podcast together maybe helps people with their own externalization of like what it is to do. But I feel like for me, it's like the takeaway from not everything has to have a bow, but I think the takeaway from this is like, I feel comfortable in this scenario, acknowledging like it's February 4th, things aren't as it should be. And I, Eddie Koffoltz, am personally convicted to do some things that may or may not be known. That I got to walk away from.
Absolutely. You can share it on the internet, Eddie.
But you're right. It doesn't, there is that internet piece of it too, where I'm just like, I don't know what this echo chamber does. Well, that's still fine. So you don't know what to repost on an Instagram story. That doesn't mean fill in the blank, right? There is not any number of organizations that are needing prayer and money or are offering you ways to act. I live in Washington, D.C. There is no shortage of people that I can call or visit that have influence. So and
the good news is there are some people who feel like the next right thing for me to do is post the organizations I'm giving money to on socials and include a link. Or here's my senator. Here's how you call your senators. I mean, there are people who go, my action is to get on my stories and tell my friends. And I support that. I think that's awesome. That has helped me. My friends have shared things that have educated me on what to do with what I already decided that I think.
Yeah. Right. And got it. Yeah. Okay.
I'm also learning and figuring it out. I mean, we're not going to do this perfectly.
Yeah. Sorry, I got a text from Eve. Hold on. Sorry.
Oh, how's she?
She's great. She got 100% on a science test.
She did.
She doesn't text me ever from school, ever.
My girl.
So I got a text and just assumed,
Tell her we said congrats.
Yeah,
back.
Someone's sick in the office, but she's not sick. She got 100% on a science test, and she's a little smarty. Okay,
Eddie, don't be sorry. I love you saying that we aren't the victims. We are not. We are people we are talking heads. We are we are safe in our lives.
Right. Entertainers. Like it's okay to it's realize and minimize, not everything, but in this moment, right? Like
yes.
you wear different hats. Sometimes it's pastor, sometimes it's all the hats at the same time. But
and also I want our friends listening to know that we deeply care. We deeply care about what's going on. We deeply care about what they need and how we can serve them and what our friendships look like. It is not a lack of care. It is, we deeply care. And so we want to be wise and want to be thoughtful, and we're humans figuring it out too. So we're all ears too. We are listening and
yeah. Okay, Annie F. Downs. That was good for me. Thank you for talking
me
through that
too.
with me.
I love talking to you about this stuff. That's why we do it. So thank you for bringing it to us and thinking it through and helping me to determine how to do this well. I don't know how to do this well all the time.
Yeah. And I'm both hopeful and fearful of how different this conversation sounds now 24 days after we recorded it.
I know.
I'm like, whew, boy, things are regressing fast, aren't they? It feels, and I don't know if this is how every generation feels. I don't know if this is how it looked when our parents were staring down Korea and Vietnam. Like, is this?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. It just
I don't know either.
Like a lot.
It does, right? And you know, John Eldredge talks about benevolent detachment.
Yeah.
Which is not to say you don't care, but his theory is, and his belief is, and I think I agree with him. He's like, our brains weren't meant to know everything globally that we know. Like, we're one of the first generations that has such access. I love old England shows. Like, I love shows like Poldark and Victoria and all that. And like, people didn't know the king died.
Right.
Until weeks afterwards when a page boy rode into their village with a piece of paper.
Yeah. Wars would continue for spare months while they sent word.
That's right.
Yeah, it was nuts.
And so there's just such a different speed of knowledge now. I mean, you and I both live far enough from Minneapolis that we wouldn't have known day of 20 years ago.
Right.
We may have known, well, that's not true. We probably would have known on the nightly news. We'd have known that night or the next morning in the paper.
Right. Right. And so part of this is beautiful because the entire planet is able to work together to figure out an end to a COVID virus and a vaccine in a record amount of time.
That's right.
Yet it's also hard because of exactly what you just illuminated. Like, you know, it's just a lot to know all the things all at one time.
I think it's also why rest still really matters. And it still matters to take a day off the internet a week. And it still matters to have hobbies that don't have you reading the news and watching TV constantly and having the 24-hour news on 24 hours is God didn't instruct us to take a day of Sabbath when the world was calm. He said, you got to rest. And our brains have to rest. It does not mean you don't care. It doesn't mean you aren't involved. It doesn't mean you aren't passionate. It's you have to rest.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
people still need to rest.
That's a biblical truth. That's old and true, which means it's not like, that's not new thinking, which makes it time tested in the right way. Like a reality, like there is still a need for that. And
the reason the first thing I want people to do is take time to read is if you don't know what's going on in Iran with Christians being murdered and protesters being murdered, you need to read up. If you don't know what's going on in Nigeria, you need to read up. If you don't know what's going on in Minneapolis, you need to read up. I don't like to use the word need. Let me retract and say, you have the opportunity. Let me go back and see who I want to be. You have the opportunity to learn a lot about what's going on globally and respond in prayer and action how you want to. So I didn't know until I saw a pastor I follow start to post about Iran. I didn't know about, here's this, we haven't even said this. I was out off the internet for almost a week and I didn't know anything new about the Epstein files. And I started getting DMs of like, what do you think about all this? Because you follow this person who was mentioned in this way. And I was like, I honestly have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because I haven't been on the internet for a couple of days.
Yeah.
And so we
Insane.
also have to give people permission that if they're taking a week off the internet or a month off the internet, they may not know what we wish they knew.
Yeah, we're missing a lot. And it's stuff that
Yeah.
it's like hard because it's like, part of me is like, okay, you can just not know about the Epstein files and that's okay. But also kind of not, because a lot of people that we may have followed or
Yeah.
looked up to have
Yes.
been doing heinous things. And we actually probably don't know right now what we will know by the time this is released.
That's right.
But
That's right.
it is right. We're not going to get too into that, but it is pretty horrific. And the information goes pretty fast. And I also got to say Christians in Iran, but also just like people that are not Christian. There are people also
just protesters being murdered.
human beings all over.
Yes.
People of faith,
Thank
not
you
of
for
faith.
saying that. Yes.
Not that it matters less or more, but it is there is some equal opportunity, horrific stuff happening.
Great. That's a great thing to say. And because yes, that's a great thing to say because it's protesters as well. And that's true in Israel and Gaza.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it is about how humans are being treated.
Yeah.
So thank you for saying that. You're exactly right.
Yeah. It's all right.
That sounds fun.
Okay, now back to our conversation with Eddie.
That sounds fun.
Can I hard left us for a second?
Do you think we can? Are we done with that? I mean, do we?
I mean, we're kind of done, but we're also going to just do a much more granular version of this, which is, so we saw the pictures on Instagram about your house. Like, it's not like we're not talking
Right.
serious now. It's just a little bit more in your living room than
Right.
around the globe.
Part of the reason I didn't exactly know what was going on in the globe is that I didn't have bandwidth for the internet while we were fixing it. And that is not, I'm not a victim. It's just water in my house. It's not that big of a deal. But I can't do the internet and
Oh, I've had a flood. It's
Yeah.
days move into weeks, move into like,
Yeah.
it is so much work. So what happened and are you okay? And what's the deal?
totally okay. Thanks be to God, I was out of town. Maybe. I think I still believe that. I'm glad I was out of town. The washing machine pipe burst in the attic. How do you even drip that? Nobody tells you to drip that. Everybody tells you to drip all your sinks, and I dripped all my sinks and my tubs, and you
the
can't know to
washing machine
drip a
blew it
washing
up.
machine. Yeah. So all the the LOL of it all is the insulation was wet, and
Yeah.
it was the photographs were at night, and so a lot of people thought it was sewage in my house. I was like,
Oh my God.
if that had been just a dining room full of dookie, you think I'm
Yeah.
going to show you that? Disgusting.
God, Dookie, are you?
Can you imagine?
Are you 11? What a great, just like, of course we're going to say that word. Okay, so it was pretty bad. And water is, if no one's had a flood before, like water is, it just trashes everything hardcore. There is no saving a lot of that.
Powerful. It is powerful.
Yeah.
And it moves quickly in long distances.
Water and smoke, they get in
Yeesh.
everything immediately and destroy it. So,
So
you have insurance?
Yes,
Are they playing
insurance
ball?
is handling it. Yeah, it's all going to be fine. And my goal, Eddie, I've had a couple of goals.
Yeah.
My goal is to keep perspective because we just spent, according to my clock, we just spent approximately 25 minutes talking about what the world is actually going through. So is my life as easy as it was before my ceiling fell in? No. But I'd like to keep perspective that I am warm. I mean, there are 4 buildings in my complex that do not have power yet, and this is day 9.
Which is all food's destroyed. How are people getting to work? What's like, this
No
isn't
hot
just
water.
Yeah, these are real stakes.
Yes. And so I can sleep in my bedroom.
Yeah.
I can shower in my bathroom. I just can't cook in my kitchen, which LOL, I wasn't doing anyway. And I can't watch TV, which I was doing. I literally said to a friend yesterday, I was like, I just need about 2 hours in front of a TV for my brain. Like I just need an old England show.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to work really hard to keep perspective. I am working really hard to be thankful every day, to find things I can be thankful for every day. So for today, I'm thankful that the that all the testing came back, that the air is fine, and so I can sleep in my house.
Oh, good.
And that they'll be able, and like there's no asbestos, there's no mold, all that has been tested and we're fine. And so I can sleep in my house. And the guy said even during construction, I'll be able to, based on how they can block it off, which is great.
Yeah. It's like E.T. Remember in E.T. when they put up all the plastic?
That's
what'll
exactly
happen.
what's going to happen. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Plastic themselves in there. It'll be loud.
So I get to sleep at home, which is great. And they're replacing some things. My beautiful wallpaper that I've loved so much will be gone, but
I know.
Everything.
Did they already do water mitigation for you? They already got rid of all the dookie.
Yeah. The dookie's gone. And the people we're working with are so kind. So that's been my third part is I just want them to I want every person who comes into my house to feel like they've had a peaceful, welcoming experience, even if I feel impatient. I want them to feel like, man, I'm glad we got to work there because that was a peaceful home. And so those have been my 3 goals.
Gracious, Annie. I'm sorry about that. Having your house wrecked, even if you have perspective and you have great insurance and it's all going to work out, that is a very unmooring experience. Like
I feel so unsettled.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a thing, Eddie, that you will understand profoundly about me is in the last year, I have always loved my house. Mm-hmm. It has been very special for me.
Yeah.
I've lived there since 2018. That's when I bought it. And in the last year, I've begun to treat it like a fortress, even more than a house.
Yeah.
And it has been my safest place. Mm-hmm. And there is something God is up to
right
around letting me remember that I don't need a fortress. I'm not unsafe. And also it is not mine to keep me safe. I feel like I have a real control thing that is getting just punched in the face, which thanks be to God, but also ouch.
Yeah.
And I think if my house is together, my life is in control.
Yeah.
And I don't like to do did God allow, did God let, did God cause? I don't get into that game very much. It doesn't tend to serve my brain. But what I can tell you is one of the ways he's using what happened is to remind me I don't need a fortress. Yeah. And that God is my fortress. And I don't need to keep myself safe. It is not mine just to, and I'm talking emotionally, not physically. Yes. I've really been been the soldier around my own heart. Yeah. And I don't have to do that. Yeah. And I think he's going to show me what a real home is. And it doesn't have to be a building. Church is not, here's the church, here's the steeple, open the door, they're the people.
They're the people. Tale as old as time.
Yeah, that's it.
That's a lot of perspective to hopefully have even just a week out, right?
I'm trying.
Like, I wish you didn't have to
how did y'all, tell me your journey of perspective shift when you were being flooded.
Oh, I mean, it's just like at first the level of we had such a positive experience with insurance that like the flood happened in the morning. By the afternoon, the water had been vacuumed out and all of the drywall had been cut down and everything was clean. So to say it was awful because, you got to go live in a hotel. Well, we had to because the water destroyed our water heater and our air conditioner, washer and dryer, but it was the air conditioner. It was cold out. So we couldn't just stay in the house. So we end up looking back at it very fondly, but there is a little bit of hand wringing at the sky going why? It was already hard enough. It's already a hard balance. And now we're living in a hotel, but then you do pretty quickly get some perspective going. Okay, I think we paid, I don't know, $1,000 deductible and they rebuild the whole thing. And it's just, it's just everybody that comes in. It's insurance covers that. It's another $10,000 to clean all of your, fill in the blank. You're just okay, we're pretty, we're deeply blessed in this and it will work out. But it is just it's very unmooring.
I'll tell you a thing, when I've been working on my Instagram posts about it, I read them all because anytime I want to talk about God when it comes to this and talk about the gospel, I have said to myself, There is a mom across town
Yeah.
that does not have power and has 5 kids in her house. And and if what I'm about to type is not true for her, it is not true of the gospel.
Yeah.
And so I recognize I'm privileged because I have insurance. I had people to call. I have people to come help me. My house is still warm. My power is still on.
Right.
I have friends I can stay with. There are people, when all this comes, I mean, by the time people are hearing this, Eddie, we will probably know. I cannot fathom how many people in Nashville have passed away because they were cold. We were in the single digits for multiple days without heat.
And Nashville is not in any way prepared for that. So has DC, but it's not a non-issue, but there hasn't been power outages and stuff. Like, y'all are south enough that it's not really equipped for that.
My friend Shannon Martin, I think you know Shannon too, but my friend Shannon Martin taught me a thing a while ago. She taught me this language that if the gospel isn't true for everyone, it isn't true. Mm-hmm. And so I have to, even when I'm going through this, I have to go, if I am thinking about the gospel and want to say something about what God is doing in this story, if it isn't true for the mom across town with 5 kids who still doesn't have power, then I need to reassess. And so I've rewritten about 5 sentences so far to go, no, that is privilege, not the gospel.
Yeah.
So I'm working on that. I'm trying to, I mean, I'm not going to be, I'm human. I'm doing the best I can, but I'm trying really hard to make sure I keep the perspective of what is here.
Yeah, right. Keep perspective, period.
Keep perspective. Yeah. It is hard. Like today's theme, it's hard to be a human, right? I mean, when y'all were already going through a lot before you had that flood happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then it continues. And yeah, it's hard to even think back to it and to the years surrounding it. But I also, it's a heck of a thing. I would not go through the last couple of years again, yet I would also not. I'm grateful for the perspective that is slowly bubbling up because of it. But I would rather, in a way, I'd rather not have it. But I don't know. Here we are. Like it's just sort of like, here we are today.
Tell 25-year-old Eddie, go talk to him for 2 minutes. What are you going to say to him? Like about the world and about your life and maybe do 22. Do the Eddie that's finishing college.
Oh, absolutely. None of it. None of what you are losing sleep over actually matters. You can feel like it matters, but so much of it doesn't matter. Like hold on tight to this woman, Brienne, that you've met, right?
Yeah.
Like learn about her. Like it's okay to ask questions you haven't asked before.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid.
Good.
Just don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid.
It's all gonna all of it. And whatever people are saying, all of it, fill in the blank is.
Yep.
That is accurate.
That's
right.
It
is all going to degrade and grow and change. There is nothing that you hold dear right now, 22-year-old version of me, that you can anticipate. And so
that's beautiful.
Just like, and it doesn't mean not care and stop caring. It just means like they're just, just buckle up. Buddy boy.
I don't know that I'd have thought of that without you. But if I went back to 22-year-old Annie, I would say, don't be afraid. Mm-hmm. You are not going to understand what happens in the world because 22-year-old Annie is 1 year out from 9/11. So we have just experienced how we fly being shaken up, how we understand New York being shaken up, how we understand safety in our country being shaken up. But I would still say to her, you are not going to understand what happens in the world.
Yeah.
You are not going to understand what happens in your life.
Yeah.
You are not going to understand what happens with your belief.
Even the things that you're so certain about.
That's right. That's right.
You could say absolutely this relationship, this belief, this.
Yes.
You will absolutely. It is
That's right.
all different than you think.
Just don't be afraid. And I would say, don't be afraid, fill in the blank. Don't be afraid of what's going to happen in the world. Yeah. It'll all work out. Don't be afraid to try something new. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to be wrong. I mean, I would just tell her and also just, this is a silly sentence maybe, but don't be afraid to be the adult in the room.
Yeah.
Because there are times, Eddie, when I go like, why are we the 45-year-olds in this world? Like, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to be the adult in the room sometimes. And other times I'm like, I can tell you exactly. Like when I'm thinking about what I've shared on stories, I'm like, I know exactly what to tell you. I'm the adult in the room.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you what to think, but I can tell you what to do with what you think.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I would tell her, don't be afraid. I said, that's exactly what I would tell her. That's a great, thank you for that. Actually is ministering to me, speaking to me right now to think, I would tell her not to be afraid. And I would tell me this morning, don't be afraid.
Yeah. But I still am afraid. That is probably one of my
still am afraid.
dominant baseline emotions is just a little fearful. There's just like a constant, it's like when you hear it's just like a low hum, like an air conditioner in a big office building. There's just a little bit of fear. And that's just I think that's a baseline psychology sometimes. But the more I can like name it and be like, you are afraid, you don't have to be, because there is just no control. I mean, the flood in some ways, very small, but was just almost like, yeah, of course. Like, I don't know what it meant, but you're like, and I'm not like expecting everything to go wrong, but you're also like, I'm not even in control of water in the house.
Yes.
You are not like, control is such a deep illusion. And I think you talk about 9/11, but for our age group, I think that was the first collective experience for some of us.
Yes.
And for me, it was one of the first experiences that I ever had that it was like, oh, maybe the bubble isn't impenetrable, whatever I define that bubble
Whatever
as.
that bubble was. That's
right?
What a beautiful way to put it.
And if we felt it over and over and over and over and over again now, right? Like we feel it, we talk about it, what's happening on the news today. And we talk about, we've felt it many times, COVID, right? It's like but for so many, like my kids, COVID was probably their first like cognizant awareness that the world is vulnerable.
Yes.
And that's maybe not. Okay, Annie, listen, time-wise, we've got you through our 45 minutes of seriousness.
I love it. I mean, let me say one more thing, because I just want to tell our friends listening, no. What a gift you're just offering us to say, this is where I'm so glad that you're trained in pastoring and counseling, because you are always doing both beautifully, whether that's what deposits into your bank account or not. It's not. It's pillar.co. Is that correct, Eddie?
I don't know. Pillargroup.co.
Pillargroup.co. So,
but I appreciate.
Yes, for us to stand in the mirror today and say, because the thing you just said taught me is I am allowed to say I'm afraid, but I don't have to be afraid.
Yeah.
And so there's this invitation to all of us, whether it's about what you say on the internet or how your friends respond or what's going on in your house or what's going on in the world or what's going on in your marriage, to stand with your kids, just to look in the mirror and go, I am afraid, and I don't have to be afraid.
Yeah. And then I am afraid. Like, it's
That's right.
It's just this circular, it's just never ending. I appreciate the compliment, but I also, I appreciate, thanks for the kind words. There's no reason to downplay it. Okay.
That sounds fun.
And now let's finish up this conversation with Eddie.
That sounds fun.
Listen, I have to talk about two things that are incredibly unimportant.
Great.
Not incredibly, but will seem unimportant compared to this, but I still think
everyone deserves dessert. So let's give them some dessert after a heavy
little
meal.
Dessert. And there's just two things.
We fed everyone beef stew, and they did not ask for that. So the least we can do is give them a lemon meringue pie at the end.
That's exactly what goes with it, because I had thought what dessert goes with a beef stew, and then I thought like a flan, but that still feels heavy. Like, you just want a light, airy.
Yep.
You want a tea cookie or something.
Like, that's right.
Right, a little ice cream. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's right.
The other day, Eve and Brienne, we have our Sunday night dinners.
Yeah.
In the middle of dinner, Eve just casually gets up, walks over, and starts making a cookie cake, and took basically a really good cookie recipe like Betty Crocker, but just made it into a cookie cake. And then Brienne, like, it materialized some of Tillamook. You've had Tillamook ice cream.
Yes, at
just
your own
plain
home.
Tillamook, right? Vanilla ice cream. Oh my God. I think about that bite of food, just like little fresh cookie cake that was a little raw in the middle, and ice cream. Is there anything better?
Just tell me that wasn't last Sunday night but from when we're recording, because what I haven't told you is I was inviting myself last Sunday night because I was supposed to be in DC and I hadn't gotten to tell you yet. And then my trip got canceled. So if it was last Sunday night, I was actually going to invite myself to be there.
Let's say it was 2 Sundays ago. Because
Okay, that'll make me feel better.
what is time?
What is time?
Right?
They're hearing this at the end of the month.
Right, but it was around one of the last Sundays, and I am
tough.
certain that whatever Sunday you show up, Eve would be tickled to make you a cookie cake.
To do it again. I'll bring the supplies. But I was
so
supposed
good.
to get to come and speak at a church and do all sorts of stuff, and it all.
I remember somebody told me about that.
Yes.
It was bummer.
It was weather. It was travel. It was a ceiling on my floor. It just all was.
There's
impossible.
a side network of people all over the country who I know personally who let me know where you're going to be. They feel as though it's their duty. So there was 3 weeks ago, that church is doing a promo on their live stream. And I get a picture from a dear friend saying, hey, guess who's in town? And I was like, that's fantastic.
I was coming to Sunday dinner and then.
Oh, bummer.
Then all the things.
All the things. Okay.
Okay, so what's our lemon meringue pie?
Okay, 2 things. 1, have the Oscars already happened?
Oh, boy.
Alexa, when are the Oscars?
The Oscars are on Sunday, March 15th at 7 p.m.
March 15th.
Great.
So no. Okay,
So
Conan
no.
O'Brien is hosting.
Can't wait.
I have some movie questions that I could ask.
Yep.
And also, we have found out as of this moment,
Yep.
I know some of the tour locations. While I don't think there's a chance, I think it's safe to say we're probably not in Canada, right?
No, sadly, not yet.
The Canada contingency online is very. Oh, Alexa, hold on, I'm unplugging.
Now she has a lot to say. You started her up. Are you using her new voice? Do you know she whispers?
Oh, I do know.
It's horrifying.
Yeah, and also
She whispered at me in the middle of the night the other night, and I was like, nope. We are unplugging you.
hard pass. And also Lucy has set it up so that on most of our Alexas, and I think I've told you this before, I can't turn it off. It purrs. So like it's like a
What?
cat. So it'll be like, the weather today is 9 degrees and sunny. It does like a cat purr after it talks.
Oh, I may be FaceTiming Lucy to show me how to do that.
And it was like an add-on, and it is fun.
Hysterical.
Until it's like, because I use Alexa all the time. It is
Same.
It is on my desk. It is the only way I'm not late to a meeting is in the morning.
right.
I start talking and I tell it all the meetings, and it's alarms all day long.
Yes.
Anyway, but every time it's like, set an alarm for 8 a.m. 8 a.m. alarm. And I'm like, good one, Lou.
Right.
Okay. So movies, tour. We're not coming to Canada. Tour. So at the point people are hearing this, you'll announce it. We don't have to talk about it now. People can already figure out some stuff. There'll be ways to.
If there's still tickets left in March, we will talk about all the places. I mean, we'll still talk about it in March, but
at some point we have to talk about the places because I will immediately. I've already heard as of regarding
you
three
know
of them.
most of them. Yeah.
I'm already researching okay, what's the thing?
Yeah.
Where's the barbecue? Where's the weird little local thing? So I will be, as you hear this, please tell me your local weird things that are not like what's the thing that if I get to go to one place in town,
tell us.
and then if I get to go to 2 places, but just I want the great local curated list. So I can't wait to see everybody.
Oscars, movies.
Okay. Have you seen them?
To put an exclamation point on my earlier confession of not knowing the news, I didn't know the Oscar nominations had come out.
Okay. So we don't need to go through and analyze Marty Supreme and Sinners and all that kind of stuff.
No, I haven't seen it yet. No, I haven't seen either of those.
Okay. I'm not going to recommend or not recommend
I'm going
things.
to see Zootopia 2 tonight.
All right. Hey, here's a fun thing about Zootopia. Do you know that it was globally, I think it's the most highest box office of any feature film ever?
The original or the Zootopia 2?
Zootopia 2, any animated film. It beat
Cute.
Frozen 2 because it's such a strong IP all around the world. So India, China. Oh. But also it's Zootopia is more of a Western vernacular. So around some places around the world, it's called, it's got a different name. It's not Topia. It's Zoo.
Like Zoo Land or Zoo
something like
City
that,
or
whatever too. And so, yeah.
I'm going to Google it right now. What do they call Zootopia around the world?
Yeah.
Let's see if that's a great thing to Google. What do they call Zootopia in other countries?
Yes. Ooh, that's a good one.
What an ethnocentristic way to write that. Other countries.
Yeah.
They're like assuming I'm American.
Right.
Zootropolis.
That's it. That's it.
Zootopia is primarily known as Zootropolis in the UK, Ireland, and various parts. Oh, Eddie, and various parts of Europe, the Middle East, and North America, and Germany. Well, hold on. Johnny, don't cut any of that, but let everyone hear that I read like I'm new at reading. Let me try again.
Yeah, no, Germany is the best.
Yeah, Zootopia is primarily known as Zootropolis in the UK, Ireland, and various parts of Europe, the Middle East, and North Africa. In Germany, it is titled Zoomania.
Oh.
In France, it's Zootopia.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Like they didn't even go with English on that. They switched it. Oh, that's great.
A Danish zoo owns the trademark of Zootopia in Europe, and so that's why Disney had to use a different name.
No way. I love that stuff. Great British Baking Show, Great British Bake Off. Like just all of these little like, I love how like entertainment has to travel and change.
We didn't even talk about Prue leaving.
That woman is, I'm like, she's an old lady. Good for her.
I think she's 86.
Yeah, good on her.
That means we're halfway to our, like, we've got another, as much as life if we've done, we get to do that much again as a grown-up in public. I love it. And Nigella coming in. Isn't that how I say it? Nigella?
I don't know, but I hope she's good.
Oh,
I'm sure she's
amazing.
great.
She used to have, she was like an OG cooking show.
Oh, I'm sure she's great.
She's awesome.
Is she like an Ira Gardner type where it's just like, if you are in Europe, you're like, oh, what a get.
Yes.
Because I didn't know who she was, but I'm sure she's great. She's ethereal. She doesn't use a microwave. She floats through her life. I'm sure she doesn't. But this is what the TV show used to feel like, is that like all of her bowls were really beautiful. Yeah, I love her. Okay.
I love that show. I'm such a fan. I need to give you one more Zootopia fact, if you don't mind.
No.
In Germany, there was already a very famous kids' book called Zootropolis. So it can't be Zootopia because of the Danish zoo. It can't be Zootropolis because of a children's book. So that's why it's Zoomania in Germany.
Can you even fathom the economics of what it costs? And I know Disney they all live in a different world, but like just the amount of time it takes for all that collateral for a movie to be redone for all of these different names. I mean, just the millions and millions in marketing. It's crazy to me. But
and that's somebody's job to be like, okay, this movie is called Zootopia 2. Is there anywhere in the world we could get sued for calling it Zootopia? And then it's like, bing, bing. Yeah, Danish. The Danish zoo. So that is, okay, don't tell me. Danish zoo means it is in Finland.
No one knows.
Norway, Denmark.
No one could know this. There's no way to know this.
No, there's no way to know this.
But also,
Amsterdam.
I'm realizing they're changing the words too. Like if they're saying the word Zootopia in the movie, they're also changing, like Jason Bateman is re-recording words.
I love Jason Bateman.
Did
you watch Black Rabbit on Netflix? That it was his post Ozarks show?
I got a couple episodes in and then we just kind of softened on it.
Yeah, we may have talked about this. Same. I watched one and I was like, I don't think I like this.
It wasn't like a choice. It was like there was a couple that we made a choice. You know, made a choice on recently, Palm Royale.
You ejected from Palm Royale? I just
couldn't. We were both like, hey, we're just like messing around and reading news on our phones during this. Like, this is not worth it. And
I wanted to like it because the Carol Burnett of it all. Oh, the Amy Poehler Carol Burnett interview on Good Hang.
I haven't listened to it. It is so good. I mean, Carol Burnett I used to watch her show as a kid. They had like reruns on it, Nick at Night. She's so funny.
And she's 90 something.
And she is royalty. She is to like a group of comedians of a certain, like Amy Poehler, I would imagine.
That's what Amy Poehler says. You've got to watch it. That's become one of my top don't miss is Amy Poehler's. And I love that it's video. I love that you can watch it just like people can watch us do this.
I was not into the video podcasting at first, but I'm kind of getting it.
I'm getting it. I wish, I'm glad. We've talked about this. I have stopped listening to Smartless unless the guest is a huge get for me.
Yeah.
But I love watching Amy Poehler because she's just like, she's so funny. Anyway, you're going to love the Carol Burnett episode.
She's just a little light, like a little bit of light in the world. And I think is purposefully so.
Did y'all watch Loot?
No, but would like to, but I hold Maya Rudolph. I think she might be the greatest SNL cast member, like in such high regard. I'm nervous to watch it because I don't know if it's good or not, but I mean, is it good?
See, I can clearly remember season 1 and 2 and really liking it. I do not know what's happened after that.
Okay.
But I used to this is really weird, Eddie. I used to have like appointment TV with Loot. And there was another show on Apple that had Kristen Chenoweth in it that was about Schmigadoon.
Yes.
And they both released on maybe Friday afternoons after work in like 2020. That was my, I would sit down at the end of the workday and watch those two shows.
That's how we're feeling about The Pit. It's Friday night is like, I know we've talked about The Pit. Okay, one movie question for you.
Yeah, please.
So one of my favorite podcasts is Movies to Be Buried With Brett Goldstein, also known as
I haven't watched it.
Guy from Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
Sweet, but he asks a questionnaire the whole way through the show about movies. I wanted to ask you one or two of the questions from the questionnaire.
Oh, sure.
And then, some of them are a little spicy, just so people know. I'm not going to ask you those. Okay. What was the first film you ever saw or remember seeing? This is like Oscars, so we're thinking Oscars movie edition.
I was going to say Pippi Longstockings.
No, it's not like Oscar movie. I was just saying the reason I'm bringing up these questions is because
of the Oscars.
I'm very much in a movie mode right now.
Pippi Longstocking is the first movie I really remember liking.
Pippi Longstocking coming into your town. Oh.
The freckle-faced, red-headed girl. Da, da, da. Yeah.
All of those jingles.
What's the first one you remember watching?
I saw Pete's Dragon in a movie theater, in a drive-in theater.
The way he warms up those apples. Who eats a warm apple like that?
Pete's Dragon. I loved that movie.
It
also scared me, but I loved it. But it was released before I was born. So I don't know why I was in a drive-in. I don't know the scenario, but I know I watched Pete's Dragon at a drive-in theater. And that was the first time I remember seeing I think that was the first movie. It was
scary in some don't be afraid ways of Pete's alone. I mean, the kid's alone. Pete's Dragon. Pete's alone. Why does the dragon disappear? And why is he getting in trouble? It was more than just a scary dragon who heats up apples.
Right. No, it was. And then, the song that watched when she's... and it's like a boat out on the ocean. No. That's Billy Joel. It's when she's on the lighthouse.
Yeah.
It was that lady is such a good singer.
Hold on. I'll be your light. Is it? I'll be your lighthouse.
I'll be your ocean on the water. My love for you will always burn.
Keep
although you're lost
on.
Drifting out. Oh, that is
that's a tearjerker. I may put that on a playlist.
You know what we should do? That should be that and Feed the Birds from Mary Poppins. We should just, during the Buddies tour, we'll just dim the lights.
We'll get the DJ to play I'll Be Your Candle on the Water.
And we'll just sit on the edge of the stage and just not make eye contact. And everybody has to listen to that song front to back, just as an intermission.
Oh, Eddie.
Okay,
here it is.
I have one more question. Shh.
Oh,
that is 70s. Listen to the drums. Listen to drums.
Key change. Did it happen? Oh, maybe not.
It's after the next one. We can hear it perfectly.
Okay, good. Jeez. Even the picture is the dragon. It's the correct dragon on Spotify.
Can I tell you, my dad, in all of his eccentricities, owns an original cell from that movie, from Pete's Dragon.
What?
And a production cell of Pete's Dragon, which is named, do you know the dragon's actual name?
No.
Elliot.
Elliot, good memory.
People
I
call
didn't
him
remember.
Pete's Dragon, but his name is Elliot. Okay,
His name's Elliot.
Last
Okay.
question, then we got to get out of here.
We got to go.
What is a film that means the most to you? Not because of the film itself, but because of the memory you have with it. You want me
Mary
to go
Poppins.
first? Oh, great. What's the memory?
Easy. Well, I have an adult memory of it. When I was a sophomore in college, I was interning at a church as the youth director and at a Methodist church. And the youth director, and in the Methodist church in June, pastors get assigned to new churches.
Yes.
The youth director got assigned to be a lead pastor to church, even though I'd already signed up to be his intern. So he left and I was in charge, which I support him doing it. It was great. And I was overwhelmed all summer and went hand to heaven every night. I watched Mary Poppins in the background because I felt like someone was taking care of me.
Oh, she took care of a lot of us.
That's
Yes.
my adult memory. I mean, I loved it as a kid, but there is something so comforting about someone who flies in and takes care of you when it feels like nothing's going right.
That's the whole premise of the second movie is we need that care again.
Yeah, that's right.
Mine was
What's yours?
the original Jurassic Park because like the movie theater in our town was like the thing to do. And kind of the first time I sort of started to have friends, it was 8th grade. And I got invited with a whole line of 8th graders to see that movie. And the theater was completely seat to seat full. And it was like a full, like we're all like me, Mike Wilson, are like yelling at each other during the movie and everybody's screaming when that velociraptor breaks into the kitchen.
Great memory.
And it was just like, I felt, it was when I felt kind of like I had friends. Like it was like one of those early, like I have friends and we're here and also we're having a shared moment. So the original Jurassic Park takes me, I think it's 8th grade. It's 8th or 7th, but it's middle school, certainly.
I only have 2 school friend movie memories. I have a lot of church friend movie memories, but my 2 school friend movie memories are Homeward Bound. Great. Where my best friend and her boyfriend held hands, and I was like, "What?" And so we all went to a movie.
We do this? I didn't even know that was.
I was like, "That's real." I've only seen that on TV.
Yeah.
And then my senior class, we went and saw Can't Hardly Wait because it was we matched senior years. Like that was our So we all went and saw Can't Hardly Wait in the theater.
Oh, that's perfect.
I think we did. I have a memory of it, but did I make that up? I don't think so. Do you know how sometimes you have memories like that you're like, I think we did that, or did I just imagine that we should have all done it, like we were on 90210?
Oh, the idea that I actually saw Pete's Dragon in a drive-in theater is my earliest memory. Whether it has been cobbled together from some dream and real, I'm living in that reality. But it is as real as anything else.
That's exactly right.
It is also as real as time, and it is time for me to go.
We have to go.
Pick up kids. I love time with you. Thanks for doing 40 minutes of seriousness.
Same. Thank you. I appreciate you processing all that with me, and I love being your friend for all the reasons we agree and don't agree, and the fact that we would both eat a cookie cake with ice cream on a Sunday night at the same table.
God almighty. I mean, that was a
treat.
cookie cake for the ages.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, friends.
Yeah.
Go wash your hands.
Bye, buddies.
You guys, isn't he just the best? I'm so thankful for him. I am so thrilled we get to do our first ever tour together this summer. Again, you're going to want to head to thebuddietour.com, decide where you're meeting up with us this summer. And because you're a friend of the show, you can use the code BUDDIES today to grab your ticket. Whether you want general admission, whether you're SPL and you want to be a part of all that SPL gets to do, including the after party, or you're a true Penguin pal and you want to come a little bit early and spend some time with us and take pictures, I do not want you to miss this night, y'all. We're going to have so much fun at these live shows. We're not recording them. It's just for the people in the room, and all of them are going to be different. So you may want to come to a couple. I don't know. Again, just head to thebuddietour.com for all the information. If you have any questions from this episode, just drop them in the Q&A box on your Spotify app if you're a Spotify listener like me, or send them to us on Instagram at That Sounds Fun Podcast. We'll try to answer them there. If you need anything else from me, you know I'm embarrassingly easy to find. Annie F. Downs on Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever, Facebook, TikTok, Substack, anywhere you need me, that's where you can find me. I think that's it for me today, friends. Go out or stay home. Do something that sounds fun to you, and I will do the same. Today, what sounds fun to me is flying out to Dallas, Texas to be with my friends at the If Gathering one-night event. I cannot wait. Y'all have a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday as we finish up our prayer practice on Spiritually Stronger here at That Sounds Fun with my friend, Pastor Matt Smallbone. We'll see you on Monday.
That sounds fun.
That sounds fun.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Check 1, 2 on the microphone. NEF down, then your car to your home. Every week it's something new. A deep talk or an interview. She'll make you laugh, she'll make you cry. When it's dark out, she's a light.